odds that President Trump will wind up in jail. I'm not a lawyer, but there's certain principles of life. Some people call them Shakespearean, like Shakespearean dramas, in terms of rises and falls in life, and it's some interesting factors to consider here. So there's a critical distinction between boldness and recklessness. I mean, you have to be bold in life because life is a competition of ideas, and I've done videos on this. The more strongly you hold an idea, the more likely you are to be successful. They call that certainty. I had a video yesterday called Certainty and Conviction Are the Key to Success, and that's true. But it's hard to be certain of an idea that's crazy or wrong or false, because at some level you know it's false. And Trump is digging himself into deep waters here. Sometimes people like to double down, and it's like I won't lose any money because whatever money I lose, I'll just double the bet, and eventually I'll win one. And when I win, then I'll stop. But I'm not saying this is Donald Trump's thinking. I'm not inside of his brain, but his behavior seems to indicate, enhanced risk taking. That when things are not going your way, double down. But collectively, even though this country is at a stalemate, unless the whole society breaks down, which anything is possible, we're still going to have rule of law. We're still going to have, the Democrats tried to, you have legal issues, then you have political issues, and sometimes they obviously intersect. Like the impeachment effort against Trump was an intersection because you had the legal issues and then you had the political issues, and it's hard to separate out the two. Now, what are the odds that Donald Trump will wind up in jail? This is just total guess, but I think it's about 12 to 15%. And let me explain why I think that. I think that, we don't want to put first of all, it's not clear whether he committed a crime or not. That's the most important factor. Now, the law is always open to interpretation. That's why we have judges. That's why we have juries. That's why, one lawyer argues on one side and one lawyer argues on another. The law is not crystal clear, even though it probably should be in some cases, because if it was crystal clear, you wouldn't even have to have court cases. It would just be like, everybody would know what the outcome was. So, people are going to debate whether what Trump is doing and did in that phone call is, criminal or not. And perhaps a consensus will emerge or perhaps it won't. My guess is that it probably won't, because just in the impeachment trial, people are going to see it the way they see it for whatever reasons, whether it's for political reasons or other reasons. So the reason I think it's a 12% chance that he'll wind up in jail, like even Nixon, and I don't know if Nixon's actions were criminal or not, because I'm not a lawyer again. But, Gerald Ford was quick to pardon him. Trump has pardoned pretty much everyone of importance, except himself, and has talked about pardoning himself. He still faces the actions in New York. See, it's possible that Al Capone was put in jail for tax evasion because they couldn't get him for, racketeering and murder. And it may be that if Trump does go to jail, it might not be for, the election comments. It might be for, his business tax returns and fraud, that New York State is investigating on that. I'm not saying he committed fraud. I'm only saying that they're investigating it. That'll have to be determined. I think there's a 12 to 15% chance he'll wind up in jail because, there is accountability. At some level, everybody in the world is accountable because, God is the final arbiter. And if God wants to put you in jail, it doesn't matter who you are. I think there's an 85 to 88% chance that he won't go to jail because I think there's enough people that support him that even if he broke the law, which hasn't been determined, but if he did break the law, and a lot of people feel that he did, but not everybody feels, a lot of people probably feel that he didn't. But if he did break the law, there'll probably be enough people that don't want to see him go to jail that it'll probably prevent him from going to jail. But I think that he should be careful if he wants to from a legal perspective. It's totally up to him. It's his life. But if I was his lawyer, I would advise him not to do anything more like that because, you double down, and at some point you have nothing left to double down with.